And we're back, episode 10. That's right, never too shy. We are back with episode 10, which is amazing.
Double digits.
I
just biked 3.6 miles to the show.
Nestor just biked 3.6 something miles, he says, which is crazy.
You gotta get skinny for the show.
It is Pride Month. It is Puerto Rican festival weekend-ish. Yeah, whenever this drops, it may have passed already. That's okay. We can celebrate.
It just happened this weekend.
Got you. We're going to just celebrate all the time, so it's fine. Yeah. It's exciting. So, hi, guys. How you feeling?
I'm exhausted, but I feel so good because summer is so close.
I love it.
Yeah, tired, but I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
I literally was talking about this with a friend the other day, and I was just like, why are we all so tired at this big age of 30? I thought by the age of 30, I would slow down, and I have not.
Big age of 30.
Big age of 30.
Well, they say now 30s are your new 20s, and then 40s you're absolutely thriving.
Oh my God, I have to wait till I'm 40?
40 and fabulous.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. My friends who are up there. Sorry.
Who are up there?
Well,
Hi, friends.
They're older than my friends who are older than 40s.
Damn.
I have a long range of friends.
Me
Some
too,
of my
me
closest
too.
friends. I mean, there's a few that are just exactly like me, but then there's some who are 38 and higher, and then there's some who are 26.
Do you have any AARP members or any senior citizens?
Right. Can they get a discount for
Right?
us?
She has no friends under 25, she just said.
No, I mean
I don't.
I'm not close friends. No, I don't. No, I don't.
I think that'd be a little weird.
Why? No, that's
no.
mean.
I have
You're
babies.
mean.
It sounds
Right.
funny, but
Bully.
my
No, I'm just
dance
kidding.
kids, my students, I call them my dance babies. Shout out to my dance babies.
Yeah.
They're 25, 24 right now.
You're a mentor to them, if anything, and more than a friend.
Your mother.
Yeah,
Your
right.
mother.
You're the mother.
You
Right.
are
I'm mother.
mother.
I'm literally mother.
You know what's funny? You were mother before I really learned and embraced the term mother.
Mother.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? The term mother being it's funny because they say that mother is the LGBTQ plus way of saying Jordan, like how straight men think of Jordan.
I never even
Like
knew
that's
didn't
how
know
people
that.
think. Yeah, it was a meme I saw. I didn't
Didn't
make
know
it
that.
up. It was a meme, but it was basically saying that Jordan to straight men is mother to the gays.
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
It makes sense. It makes
Ever
sense.
since they would always say their dance mother, and I always say my daughters, my sons.
Yeah, I introduced us to a lot of my gay friends. They didn't know about that
About
either.
mother?
Yeah, me either. I didn't know this till 5 years, but they just barely found out about this term.
Yeah, I've just said
Yeah,
it. I
but
didn't
I
know it
feel-
had any.
I feel like mother is being overused though in the community. My personal opinion, my hot take, they're trying to say everybody's mother. No, mother. When I think mother, I think like mother. I think Kris Jenner, like mother.
I think a lot of people use it for the sense of wanting to be on top of somebody or better than somebody, or I'm not saying you do, but some people.
I don't think about better.
No.
Some people, I believe, use that terminology the wrong way, which I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
But I can see that.
Well, Meghan Trainor is walking around calling herself mother. When the fuck
Yeah.
did Meghan Trainor become mother?
Who's Meghan Trainor?
No, yeah, she's the.
Yeah. She's not mother.
That's how much I know, right? She's the. I like mama down. No crap, I don't even know this.
Well, maybe
She's not
because
mother.
I
She's
see
not.
like
She's not.
I see like I mean
J-Lo's
I watch a lot of drag, and I do see a lot of that tea happening. You know what I'm saying? So
In real time?
without saying too much, I feel like there is a lot of people out there trying to be above other people, and because of that, they call themselves mother. When
Interesting.
a mother doesn't
So
do
in that context,
yeah, when mothers don't do the type of stuff that they do. So
Oh
that's my
God!
tea.
Then stop using that word, people.
Yeah, even me, I'm myself growing up. So my mom, for example, some people always call my mom. Hey ma,
Yeah.
my friends, they'll
Yeah.
call my mom. But I've never called other people's moms or teachers or anybody my mother.
Really?
No, but until I became an adult. So I always called my grandma mom growing up. She was never grandma.
Ma,
No,
like-
abuelita. She was mom. MOM, my
Interesting.
grandma. My mom's always mommy, ma, not mom. But I have a few friends in the dance community or people I dance with, and their moms are very involved in the dance community too. For them, I do say mom. I'd be hey mom, just because one,
You're part of that community.
and they give so much to the community. They are dance moms, they are invested. They don't think about just their daughter and that's it. They're very much helping
They're giving
everybody
their
in the
tips
community.
to like other people.
Yes, and they're just like, and our moms are all cool. Like they all talk on the phone and that. So
That's
for
cute.
them, I
That's
think
cool.
it's also like
It's like
respect.
dance moms. Dance
It's exactly like dance moms, even though we're all grown as fuck.
And they're not mean. Like
Right, no,
dance
not
moms.
mean at all. I mean, they're gonna tell you like it is.
Yeah.
That's why I like respect them and I love them so much. But like growing up, like even having like dance directors, like Zeke or Kim, like these are people I say these are my directors, my comadre, my girl, you know, like that. But I've never called anybody in that sense like mother.
Mm-hmm.
But like people like Beatrice, shout out to Beatrice, to Vicky, to Saya, like they're like mom.
That is so cute.
Yeah, that is cute.
I like that.
I get called mother too. And I
Nestor's mother.
I appreciate it too because I know it's a lot of like for me we talk about it a lot where like in the gay community a lot of times they use that term, but whenever when I started going into the gay community, either they were just trying to hit on me, but they weren't so open to like me coming into like this scene or whatever. And so for me, like whenever I see anybody like that might have or that might want to start like experiencing or coming into the gay scene, like I try to like put my 2 cents in or like, you know, just I'm a very loving person. So that's what I try to do. And so they start calling me mother, even though I'm a father.
LOL. Well, I love it. It's okay. So Pride Month, we're celebrating. We'll be out. Are you guys going to the parade or the festivals?
I don't even know when that is. I've never been.
The Pride Fest?
Yeah, no, like shade, not for a reason. I just never been because I feel like there was always like it was always at the same time of something else, or I was out of town, or so. We talked about this last episode. Everything happens like all the time.
I'm going tomorrow because I think it starts
this weekend.
I think it starts tomorrow.
Pride
Yeah.
Fest?
No. Puerto Rican Fest.
She was asking about Pride Fest.
Oh, Pride, yeah.
One at a time
Puerto
here.
Rican Fest, we in there, Paulina. You could tell them.
Pride Fest, I might go there for a little bit. I don't know. It gets too packed.
It gets really packed and it's really hot. But no, for Puerto Rican Fest. So I've never been. Have I been? I may have like rolled through, but that was like a long time ago. But this year I'm going on a float. What? And I called Tati and I was like, will you come on this float with me and can I borrow a shirt? And she's like, I got you.
Nice.
I sent her a picture of J-Lo when she was in the New York
Puerto
Rican parade of J-Lo with the flag, and I'm like, just be ready. Like
that's cute.
That's mother. That's
Princess
Puerto
Wave.
Rican mother. Nah, not Princess Wave.
How many Puerto Rican festivals have you gone to?
Almost every year.
Wow, that's
almost
cool.
every
I've only gone once and it was last year.
I go mainly for just like the live bands and the dancing, and
I would want to go more, but
I've performed a few times years ago.
I would want to go more, but I hear a lot that it's really super violent, like the Puerto Rican Fest.
You know what's crazy is every single year I've gone, the day I go, the time I go, nothing pops off the day I go, because I don't go every day. I'll go like once that weekend.
Yeah,
and the days I went, like nothing's ever happened. But of course, I hear things happen the day before, the day after. But I've been, knock on wood, fortunate enough that we've had a good time. Last year, the line was so long because now you have to pay. It's a little bit different than it was back in the day. And so the line was so long. So we're walking to the line, and one of my former dancers for the dance team was working security, and they're like,
ooh,
come on.
Nice.
And I was like, so if you're there working again, it don't matter. I'm gonna be on a float.
My girl's going on a whole float.
You didn't see me on a float?
I can't wait.
Y'all
for
need
this.
a routine. Y'all need a routine.
think
Yeah,
so?
Tati, come on.
A routine? No,
Yeah.
I'm trying to just.
She wants to be
Chill?
Miss
Just
Congeniality.
That's
J-Lo.
me with my
J-Lo,
Puerto Rican
sorry.
shirt, my Puerto Rican
Yeah,
flag. Not
absolutely.
even announced Puerto Rican, but
It's
here
totally
I am.
fine.
Yeah,
Okay, what
I'm
are things that
embracing
you
it.
have to do if you go to the Puerto Rican festival?
Eat good food.
What's the best food right there?
I mean, okay, personally, the places I go to in general that I enjoy are Jibaritos y Más. That's number one.
Yes, you know that I'm putting one in my neighborhood.
Yes, girl, right on our church.
Yes.
That's
Shout out to
cute.
them. Smart. Because they also have one in
North Side, right?
No, well, that's on Kimball, but they have like 5 locations.
What? I
So
thought
they have
only had
one on like Harlem.
I thought they only had
And-
2 locations.
Okay.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, I feel like
They have one on Fullerton and
Fullerton and Kimball.
Kimball.
But then there's
one
one
on
on
Harlem.
Harlem.
Yeah, and then that's it.
No, there's one downtown by Boys Town.
Ew.
Because I had their brunch like 2 years ago.
What?
Yes.
Never
See?
knew
So,
that.
bro, Puerto
It's
Rican.
by
Right.
I forgot the exact street, but it's like a few blocks, 1 or 2 blocks away from Molly's Cupcakes.
Okay.
So it's around there.
That
So
area.
I mean,
So that's
shout out
number
to-
one.
That I really love Jibaritos y Mas. I like Papacache. I feel like if you're from Humboldt Park, you go around Humboldt Park, you just know Papacache.
I have a confession.
yeah.
I love Puerto Rican people, right? I love
boy.
them. But I've never really had like the best Puerto Rican food tasting experience.
Because you
So-
gotta go to Puerto Rico. I'm just kidding. No shade to the
Can
restaurants
Puerto Rico
here.
come to me?
Right? My grandma, whenever my grandma comes in
Yeah,
town,
yeah.
I got you. But I got aunts here that throw
And
down
actually,
too.
the best Puerto Rican rice that I've ever had was made by
a Mexican?
By a Mexican.
Funny story. So like in my girl group, like of my close friends, the one that makes the best rice is the little 4'10" Mexican girl, Yasi. She's the one whose birthday is this weekend.
You see, so I'm not the only
so
one. Okay.
she makes really good Puerto Rican rice, and she's not even Puerto Rican. So yeah, you just got it. So yeah, Jibaritos y Mas, Papacache, those are like the top two I really enjoy. So you got to get good food. And then 2, you need to get a good drink. Okay, honey. We
Some
like
coquito or no?
not coquito in the summer, boo boo.
That's a winter thing,
you
right?
need like donku. You need something with rum. It has to have rum in it because if you want to like feel like you're on the island, rum. And then 3rd, you need to go to the stage and just listen to some bomb live music, watch amazing performances. My girls, Andiosas, I believe, are performing, and I don't know who else, but watch amazing performances and dance your ass off. Even if you don't know how to dance, you just move your body. And you
Move
make
your
friends.
body.
My favorite are the little
Move your body.
viejitos. Those are my favorite people at festivals,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
at these. They're the ones that'll tell you the stories about like how they've been coming to the fest since they were like,
I love
like
those conversations.
I was 7 years old and I'm 73.
I love
I love viejito stories, especially when they dance and they get down and they have their little Guido. I love it.
What day are you guys gonna be there? I might pull up.
We're
on you guys.
going on Saturday, so
For the
it's the parade. I don't know how that really works because we both got a dip. I think at a certain time as
Oh,
well.
but that's super early, right?
I think we have to
like
be
2,
so
the
we have to
parade.
be on the float by like 1:30 or something.
Oh.
So yeah, but I mean, I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It'll be a good time. So, question for you: what does it mean for you being, of Puerto Rican descent? Like, what does being Puerto Rican mean to you?
Ooh.
That's a deep
does it mean?
question.
Yes,
I
I know I
think-
got really deep.
I think it means being culturally aware of your roots, your African roots, Taino roots, not just like being Latino, like really respecting the culture and the ancestors who came before you to make this culture what it is. And that involves the music, the clothing, the dancing, the food. And it's just constantly, for me being Puerto Rican, I'm constantly like having to learn about my culture more because we talked about this way episodes ago.
Yeah.
Because I'm mixed, I don't feel like I'm completely Puerto Rican or completely Colombian or completely Jordanian or Palestinian. So I think I'm always embracing knowledge and culture. And thankfully, because I dance, when I meet different instructors and I take classes and I travel, I learn all the time and I just absorb it. I become a sponge and then I pass down any knowledge I get to my students. So to me, it's just understanding that being Puerto Rican, and I feel like this is almost any culture, comes in different shades and different styles. It's not like J-Lo is what a Puerto Rican looks like. She's mother, but that is not
Right.
what it looks like. My grandfather was 500 shades darker than me. I have an aunt with bright blue eyes and she looks like she's a güerita, almost blonde hair. I have another aunt who's like dark and people think she's African American. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful culture, and I would say the people within the culture are very tight knit and strong. It's a strong sense of pride. And I'm very proud to be Puerto Rican, even though I don't feel like, again, I live that traditional Puerto Rican lifestyle every day where I got a big flag in my house. Believe it or not, I don't.
Puerto Ricans love to show us that they're Puerto Rican.
But I'm a very proud Boricua all day. That was a great question.
I had to do
Nobody's asked me that.
Whoa,
Ever?
right here.
No,
breaking.
ever, no.
Yeah. I love that you said that about the shades, because there's people that are always like expecting a Puerto Rican to look, or anyone to look a certain way. And so for you to say that, it's real beautiful.
Not all Puerto Ricans got big booties.
Uh-huh.
Little
We've
booties
seen
matter.
them.
Little booties matter, right? Like,
Yeah.
not all Puerto Rican women are crazy like people want to stereotype them to be.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Most of
that's
y'all.
fair.
No, just
Most of
kidding.
y'all.
Not all Puerto Rican men got the unwell haircut.
Thank God.
But I do. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Lester
Come on, bro. But he's Mexican.
I know.
I'm
I'm just
kidding,
messing
but-
with him. He's just not
Yeah, so-
looking well. Maybe a little
And
bit.
I think that goes with all cultures and all
Yes.
ethnicities. There's not a one fit all look. Not all Mexicans look like Selena.
No.
Not all Mexican men look like Peso Pluma. Not all Colombians look like Karol G
Yeah.
or Shakira.
No, that's facts. Like I'm watching a show right now. I've been watching it. La Reina del Sur. Yeah, that
Del
is
Sur.
La Sur. I know. I always have a problem with that, which I want to talk about. That's another topic in itself of reclaiming Spanish. But I watched it about 3 years ago when my fiance and I met. That was like our show. Randomly, I put it
Adorable.
on Netflix. I know, it was like our show.
You wanted to impress him.
I think I did.
You're
I
like,
was
come
like,
on, papi.
I'm Mexican.
me-
No,
let
you're
me-
not. I'm Latin. I'm Hispanic.
I'm a Hispanic girl who's gonna watch a Hispanic show. No, I put it on. I don't know why. I think because it was on Netflix. You know how they show you the previews, and I was like, oh, this looks like juicy. I want to watch it. So I started watching it, and like low-key, I'm obsessed with that show. But also like, what's her name? Kate Del Castillo.
Yeah.
She is a fucking icon, though. Like
yeah.
regardless of the show, I mean, she's I think been in Hollywood forever, and
Yeah.
her parents, something
Yeah.
like that, were also in Hollywood.
Actor.
Telenovelas,
Actress, yeah.
these soap operas,
Yes.
they don't play.
What was his name?
The
Eric Del
drama's on
Castillo, no?
100.
No idea.
Oh, Eric Del Castillo.
That's
was
her dad. Yeah. So I know she comes from like a lineage of actors in Hollywood and stuff, and or I guess like Latin Hollywood.
Yeah.
But she is an icon. But I love that show. But in that show, there's a new season. So mind you, like years went by, like a year now, and I didn't realize they have a new season. So I'm like binging again.
When
so
did the show start?
it's a long time ago. Me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's on
20 years
Netflix
ago.
now.
I've heard-
but it's
Maybe
on
like
Telemundo.
2009, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a long time
2009.
ago.
I constantly hear about it.
It's always out. Well, it's like repeating on
It
Telemundo.
was very controversial. I think she she interviewed somebody.
Oh,
No,
El
yeah,
Chapo.
yeah. She
El
interviewed
Chapo, yeah.
I watched it. I
I
watched that
heard
whole
it.
thing. I love her, dude. She interviewed El Chapo,
She's
and like
crazy.
she's insane. It was her, and she was dating what's
Sean
his nuts,
Penn.
Sean Penn at that time, and Sean Penn was like kind of low key using her. No, is because he's kind of an a-hole, isn't he? Can I say that? I think he is.
I don't know. I don't really.
I don't know the
my-
whole story,
yeah.
but point is, it wasn't like safe, but also he wasn't like a good man. I don't know if he
Yeah.
like used her for that, or I don't know. Point is, whatever. Because she talks about it, and yeah, like they met like in a tunnel. Like I guess he's a fan of hers, but
Yeah.
like I mean, he could have killed her. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that was wild. It doesn't matter
Everybody was
if
scared
you're
for
Kate
her.
Castillo, whoever you are, like you're gonna like
Yeah.
you shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
sneaky shit with El
Right.
Chapo in a tunnel. It's just scary.
Right.
But anyway, so I'm watching the show right now, season 3, I think it is. So like her daughter's older, whatever, and she's still on the run, whatever. And right now they're in Bolivia, but they're spending time. They're showing time between Colombia and Bolivia, and I love it. I don't know if it's because it's 2023 and now like we're more aware of this, but they're showing the actors in all different like shades. Like there's like Afro Latinos who are the
Oh,
main
yeah, yeah.
characters now too.
About time.
And I'm loving it. You know what I mean? So it's not just like the light skin
Of course, because
representation.
colorism is a thing in Hollywood.
It is a thing.
I mean, if you look,
It's
especially these telenovelas, the slaves, the maids, the bad guys, they're all the dark complected Latinos, and
Yeah,
then it's the light skinned.
But even in our culture too, like in Latin
Yeah.
culture is so bad. Like I was just telling my friend, my brother yesterday and his wife, that we always say, they always talk about like, not them specifically, but the conversation is always there, or like they demonize like somebody being darker. Like they don't. I don't think they realize that. And I'm like that is really bad. Like they demonize that. They demonize height. They demonize so many things where I'm like, you guys are like really dumb for that. You know, like I can't believe you can't hear it. And
Right.
so it's good that you're acknowledging that.
I love it, and I've been knowing that it's an issue
Yeah.
forever. You know what I mean? Especially like because I never felt like taught in the sense of like the history behind a lot of these countries. Like
Yeah.
all Latin American countries, for the most part, like have a black African population, right? And then
absolutely.
then what happens? It's like they bring their culture. A lot of times, I mean, if I'm wrong, you can correct me, but I think a lot of times the music, food, all of that has a huge influence on the country.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I
Heck
mean?
yeah.
Like reggaeton, even bachata, all
of
of
it.
these, like
All of it.
a lot of these sounds stem from Africa. So it's like there's so much integration. You know what I mean, with the Taino, right? The people of the island, and you know the indigenous Mexican people bringing all this together. Like they've created what we know now as like the sounds, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
music that we listen to, and it's very, very interesting. The one thing about when I mentioned reclaiming Spanish for me is like, I'm trying to, and I got this from one of my friends. Shout out to Gigi, the first gen mentor. She's a TikToker. So we went to dinner yesterday, whatever, and she had
I seen that.
video.
Yeah, I saw it.
I was watching all her
posted it.
videos.
Yeah, she's so dope. I love her. So she talks a lot about like, and I mean, she's fully Mexican from the San Diego area, but she talks about wanting to like reclaim her Spanish and stuff. And I was like, no, girl, like, I mean, you're obviously way more advanced than I am. And I was like, but I'm also kind of on that same path. And you know, reclaiming Spanish and everything, it's something for me. It's really important of just like being able to like speak it more fluently. One thing that I won't do, but I do this like even in I speak Polish. Even in Polish, I don't do this as much. But like, I don't like to respond. That's my thing. It's like you can talk to me and I'll 95%
That's
understand
100%
you,
me.
but I won't respond.
And I hate that about myself as well.
Wait, say that.
Because we
wait.
get in our heads.
Wait, what?
If you spoke to me in Spanish,
She'll respond in English.
I will respond in English. Like that's such a
It comes off as rude and disrespectful, and it's like I hate that because I'm aware, I'm metacognitive that it comes off rude, but I'm just so self-conscious, or I like get nervous and I'm like, oh my god, wait, let me conjugate correctly.
Have you guys seen that video on Instagram? I forgot who it is. She's famous, and was it Bolivia or something, where this, I think she does like a judge show or whatever, and this girl's trying to respond to her, and
Caso cerrado.
Yeah, and she's like
Caso
on her like
cerrado.
that.
Yeah, she's like, no, háblame de español.
Español.
No
She says, tu
inglés,
nombre es
español.
esto, like, yeah.
Yeah. She's like Luna, and then she's
But talk
like,
about it.
Luna.
My name is Luna.
Yeah.
And then she was like, no, Luna. She's like, Luna, because she was from Colombia.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is so funny. But yeah, so that's my thing of just being able to reclaim it. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys. A lot of these accents throw me off, and I've been saying this for years. It's nothing new.
Dialect.
But
accents.
dialect, like I love Boricuas, but I cannot understand you.
Be like,
Me-
hold on,
I
like, can I
cannot-
put a slow motion
They-
on
Can
that?
you put that
I
arm
can't.
down?
See, what are their hands
Stop
doing?
dropping the S.
I can't understand Puerto Ricans either.
Rolling
like,
R's.
Yeah.
I can't.
R's
I'm
and
like-
L's.
I'm like,
Can you just put that-
Trabajar.
but it
Yeah.
sounds beautiful to me.
does.
But I can't understand it. Yeah.
And it's so funny too because as somebody who's not even like super fluent in Spanish,
Yeah.
like I can 95, I'll give myself that % of the time tell where you're from. So if somebody walks in this room, you had
For
a
sure.
lineup of people and they all just spoke, I can tell
Boom,
because
boom,
of and I try to explain to my white friends, I'm like, oh, it's different dialects, the way that it comes off. Like I can understand different
And
countries.
the words they
like
say,
I always
the
say,
slang.
yes, like with like Mexican Spanish, I'm just gonna like use those terms, Mexican Spanish. As for me, the most understandable because it's all I really knew growing up my whole life, just being surrounded by Mexican people for the most part. But
Everyone's surrounded by Mexican people.
not in New York as much.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
not New York
No, they
or like
Yeah.
Miami.
yeah, Miami,
But-
not so much.
But mostly
Chicago here, LA.
mostly everywhere in the States.
For here, for sure here.
Like predominantly,
Yeah.
you're gonna be surrounded by Mexicans more than anybody else.
not
New
every
York,
city. I won't agree with that.
You're gonna get a lot of DR.
Oh
Puerto
yeah,
Rican.
New York and Miami for the exception.
Coast.
But I'm saying mostly like
LA though is really big with Honduran and Salvadorian. Huge. I think they're as big as Mexican. Well, because it's right there. But yeah, no, it's and yeah, you're right. Texas and everything could be very Mexican. But when I understand the like language, I always say like, in my opinion, I feel like Mexican Spanish is the slowest. My opinion. I feel like it's the most comprehensible.
That's just because you hear it here. But if
Are we sure?
Yeah, because if you go to like
Mexico,
Ciudad de
Rancho.
Mexico, if you go to Sinaloa, if you go to Michoacan, like it's all different.
There's
dialects.
different dialects and accents. That was my next point.
So you speak like you hear
and all
Americanized
languages.
Americanized Spanish, where it's like very easy to comprehend. But if you go to like deep in like Sinaloa, like even I find it difficult to talk to those people.
Yes,
Super hard.
that is so interesting, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild to me. And then,
But I get your point. It's,
yeah,
like in America, like it's the slower one. Like
It
it's the most
is.
understandable.
in my opinion.
And then-
Absolutely.
And
Keep
then
going.
Puerto Rican Spanish, I can tell because they speak obviously faster, but I feel like they drop. I can tell when like there's letters drop. You know what I mean? They love
It's
to
the
like
hardest to understand.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
won't say like para,
They say
Yeah.
po.
para, like whatever. It's just like very like quick. And then with Dominican is very similar, but Dominican I can tell only because it's very like coño, like blah, 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 like that. I hear that. No, that's how I hear it.
Maldita tigre.
I'm
¿Qué lo
like,
que? ¿Qué lo
yeah.
que tú dices?
And I'm like, I can hear it. I love it. And then I'm trying to think.
Colombian,
Colombia.
they're like like real emotional.
They're really
I
sexy
get
and
chill.
stuff.
I like Colombian.
Get
Oh my
chill.
God, Carol G when she speaks.
I know.
Or Fade, her
amor.
man.
Yes, when they speak, I'm like
Amor.
Colombian. It's very sexy. Argentina to me,
It's really mean, I think.
it is very mean.
It's more
And
European, actually.
Yeah, because they're very European.
And
Exactly.
Bolivian, and they're like, it's like, I don't know, like, la sangre está más heavy.
It's yeah, and
It's
they
like,
and
I'm just
Muy
sitting here
heavy.
listening to everything.
obviously Spain, I can tell because they thought the stuff
The,
like
yeah.
that I could tell. That, and a lot of times too, a lot of these countries use different words. Like I didn't know, like what's the word for dinero? It's
Chavo?
no, something with a C. How do you say? it?
Chavo.
wait, say that one more time.
Not champ. Oh my God, it's gonna bother me. It's another word for money. Plata. Plata's another.
Oh, yeah, plata,
That's
yeah.
one, but there's one with a C too.
Chavo.
Are you sure? Oh, I never heard that one.
I've never heard of that one either.
I think so.
It might be plata or plato. Plata.
Plata.
Plata,
Yeah, plata is
plata.
used in like Colombia.
That's where I learned it. 'Cause
Southern
of
America,
TV. Yeah, Southern America. So I heard plata a lot, but I was like, what the hell's a plata? And then I was like, oh, so these words are different too.
That reminds me of like on TikTok. I love watching the videos where it's like a couple,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, this person is from Puerto Rico, Mexican."
I love it.
How do like I say popote, you say blank, like how they have different words.
On Instagram, it's
Phrases.
like six
I love
people,
that.
like 6 people, and they all say like.
I love
We
that.
gotta have you guys do that.
I
Like
was gonna-
Mexican and Puerto Rican.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say that.
but I'm not like the best representation.
It's okay.
because I'm not fully.
I love that you
one.
admit that.
No,
No,
I'm
we're
of
mixed,
course.
and we're gonna
I
own
love
it.
that you
No,
admit.
I'm mixed. I'm gonna own it. However, here, you ready for this? Because, like you said, I grew up around all Mexicans,
picked up a
so
lot of
I
it.
picked up more. Like I'll say popote, and then Puerto Ricans will be like, "What's that?" I'll be like, "That's a straw."
You're Mexican influence.
Exactly, like culturally in my
stole
context of where I
It's
went
a lot
to
of
school,
us,
like
like,
in
yeah.
preschool all the way to 8th grade. Everybody was predominantly Mexican,
But I
and my mom worked with like all Mexican families, so I heard those words more.
I did want to say this though, like just because I can't understand like certain Spanish doesn't mean I think it's bad, because a lot of times there's this like
Oh, I want to be very clear.
there's-
Nobody here is saying that
there-
any Spanish is bad, or
No.
people like to say like, "Oh, it's dirty." No, that we are
Yeah,
not saying that,
like-
nor have we ever said that.
yeah, like I
First of
can't
all, yeah.
understand it at times, but like I always tell like, cause I know a lot of people I know a lot of Mexicans because I'm Mexican, but I do know a lot of them that demonize or look down on other people's Spanish, and I don't like that either. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But I think like when people have that attitude, it's more like, listen, think about the intellectual capabilities. This person knows more than one language.
Yeah.
Like people send their kids to programs and spend all this money to learn language
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it's homegrown for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
you gotta put some respect on bilingual, trilingual people's
Yeah.
names, even
Ooh.
if they're not perfect. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's something
that's
else. Like,
great.
I don't like to feed into like them, but I was just saying like for our
You
sake,
there
no,
is.
it's a
for
good idea,
our
'cause
sake,
somebody's
like
gonna watch this and run
yeah.
it back and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're making fun of it." No, we're not. We're,
never. People do that? What?
I know the internet's
but then,
a crazy
but then
place.
people demonize when, or they're all mad about it when you're trying to ask them to like, because I find it really like sexy when someone has their own accent. So I'm like,
Yeah.
say that again. Can you say that again? Can you say? But then other people look at it like, why are you like now you're using that person? I'm like, I'm not using them. I'm appreciating their culture, and
Interesting.
you know,
Yeah, no, I'm glad you pointed that out because somebody will watch this right now and
they
be like,
always try to turn everything
I
around.
know, and they're gonna say whatever, but you're looking at 3 different like Latin American countries right here, so it's like we really can't demonize
Yeah,
us. Like
yeah.
we're just saying that like we, especially for me being being the least I would say Spanish speaking person in the room, like I can even tell when someone's from a different country, right, or what side they're from.
Can we say a full sentence? I really want to hear you guys' act. Why? I think it's cool.
This is part of me being shy.
Okay.
You see, I'm not a shy person, but I'm very
I wanna hear-
self-conscious about how I
Este
sound.
punto adelante es puro español.
Yeah.
Oh
lo
my
que vamos a
god,
hablar.
then I'm out.
No
I'll be
quiero
back.
hablar
I'll
en
be back
español.
It's okay. Look at. I feel like
scared.
I
Tengo
want.
miedo.
I want the
Look at him
view.
doing Spanish.
I want the viewers to see like this is where we're at, and it's okay.
This is
It's
me
beautiful.
being
It's beautiful.
So, what's the word? Vulnerable.
Yeah, just say a
I
sentence.
just literally did. I said 2.
Do you speak, if I can ask, do you speak to like your students who don't speak English? Because I know you guys have some at Curie.
I do
in Spanish.
But that's different. Like in parent-teacher conferences,
parents.
I will talk to parents in Spanish.
I'm a parent
but that's
right now.
because like it's my
He's a
job.
mother.
Here
I'm a
I get
mother right now.
nervous. I get nervous here, but I always preface them with like,
Can I say something that I told my mom because my
Yeah,
my mom,
pero.
my dad has the heaviest accent, and he'll talk to you, and he'll be like, "For why don't you want to come?" or like that. He talks like that, right? And so my dad would always make fun of my mom, but my dad didn't give a fuck about what my mom or anybody thought about him, and that's why he's able to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom, she could understand it, and she would never talk. And I'm like, dude, you literally allowed my dad to fucking bully you to not talk.
Oh, I hate that.
That's exactly what I'm telling you right now.
Well,
so can you say a sentence, please?
Just one sentence.
Well, I'll stare at you at the same time.
Tengo miedo.
Oh, I love that. Okay, you say that.
I'm scared.
What? Tengo what?
I said tengo miedo, like I'm scared.
Yes.
Don't
No
say the
quiero
same
hablar en
It
español
sounds
on the
cute.
spot.
Tati,
I don't know how to say on the spot in
Tati, it
Spanish.
sounded cute.
En el momento. No
En el
quiero,
momento,
no quiero hablar español.
no quiero hablar español.
En español.
Por favor.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Ooh. It sounded really cute.
Like you honestly sound fun. Like, what's the problem? It's all in your
It's
head.
here. It's
You know
like
what? It's just like the English part of your brain also too. Like the
Yeah.
older you get, like your
I think
brain-
you don't wanna get bullied.
Switching subject.
Is it 'cause you don't wanna get bullied by
no,
somebody?
No, and it's not. It's just
Isn't that
because
some
like
bullying? You
I
blink
just feel
twice.
like I cannot. My brain doesn't work fast enough to conjugate and find the right words because I don't know the words at the top of my head. But if I hear you say it, I'll know what you said.
I think it sounds really beautiful, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Thank
sounded
you.
really great. You know what I do though? I have this problem, and
I could
I'm
order
not
tacos
even.
though.
Oh yes, girl. I'm not
Quiero
even.
tacos.
Los tacos de carne asada, pero solamente aguacate, tomate y crema. Gracias.
Oh yes.
Now y'all know my taco order. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So like I was gonna say like I don't even speak that level of Spanish at all. But I mean like I can say like basic shit. But I do this thing where like people talk to me and it'll be like in Polish or something, and they'll speak to me, and then I will respond. I don't know the Polish word because I'm fluent, but I'm not that fluent. Like
Yeah.
exactly, if I go to the motherland, I sound like an idiot. And I will actually say a Spanish word, and then I'm like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Like I'll be like, "Oh," in Polish, I'll be like "chodź," which is like "come," like "chodź," and I'll be like, and I can see like the beach, for example, right? Or like you know, I'll be like "chodź to playa," and they're looking at me like I'm fucking crazy, and then they're like
I love
"playa,"
that.
and I'm like, "Oh fuck!" Like that's not a word. I did that so many times, you guys.
Oh
No,
my God, I love
but
that.
I love that. My grandfather, my mom's father, he spoke 3 languages. He spoke English, Spanish, and he spoke Arabic. And he could write and read in all 3 languages.
That's
so
cool.
he loved, I think that's one thing that he loved being around my family, because my mom's brothers don't speak Spanish. They just know Arabic, and then they know English. So he was able to speak Spanish with my mom, and anytime with my mom, he had a chance to speak Spanish. But then he'll like throw in some Arabic words in there. We're like, hold on, you lost me. Shamuta, what? Hold on, that's not good. Don't say that. So I think that's beautiful, where people could just intertwine their words.
But you know Spanish more than
talent.
you know Arabic, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. You could look at me and tell me I'm the biggest piece of shit in the world, and I'll be like,
I am.
wow, see.
Yeah. Oh no. Do you understand anything? Like
I know the
words?
bad words. I know, not really. I don't
Teach
know
us.
much.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't know
But
much.
that's awesome though, like because your mom speaks all 3 too.
No, my mom spoke all 3 ever since she was little. She grew up with Arabic, and then they stopped talking to her in Arabic. Like my grandma married a white man, and so they just mainly spoke English. And so
Yeah.
she never really practiced it. And so she lost it.
So Arabic was lost?
For her,
For her?
it was. I mean, again, she knows more than me, but again, words, phrases.
Yeah.
She can't have
She's
a full
not fluent.
conversation. No. And I'm not even close to that. I know bad words.
Yeah, but you
That's
celebrate
it.
your culture, and I love that.
Oh,
for
I
you.
celebrate
So
my
she's
culture
like,
in other
so
ways.
Nestor, don't
There's
get me
so
mad.
many other ways to celebrate your
Thank
culture.
you.
For a person who says they're a no sabo kid, like that doesn't not mean you cannot be proud of your culture and celebrate your culture and be willing to learn. And it's not even like to have the pressure, like, oh, you're not Mexican enough, you're not Puerto Rican enough, you don't speak Spanish. But I think there's nothing wrong with being willing to learn. And I do think what's gonna kick me to really like get it right is the day I have a kid.
I think so too.
Because I
said
think
the
I'm
same
gonna
thing.
learn with them, like
Same.
again. Because I took Spanish all throughout high school. I was in
that
honor
doesn't
Spanish
count.
all 4 years.
Come on, honor Spanish.
I don't remember none of that.
I mean, I knew you're a teacher. I don't want to
mean,
shit on teaching, but
no,
like
no,
I like
no,
that doesn't, like
I get it.
If you walk out of 4 years of high school and
Yeah, I
like
don't know
learning a
French.
whole new language,
I
like
don't know French.
that's
Right.
your teacher must be fucking powerful.
I mean, I knew enough that when I had to take the test at UIC to get into college, I took it I took the Spanish test, and I was able to test out because
Oh,
I knew
nice.
enough where I didn't have to take it at UIC.
Boom.
So, you know, I play around with it
I
here and
forgot
there.
French.
If you see
so,
me
yeah.
talk to me in
I'm like- I
Spanish,
agree.
I'll try.
Tu ne parles pas français?
I think I remember.
Do
Est
you
que je peux voy à la toilette? I think that's how you say
Can I
it.
go
go
to
to
the
the
toilet?
toilet?
Yeah.
I love that. That's
No.
what you remember.
Yeah, good.
Because
Good
my
for
teacher
you.
would be like,
Como
unless
telebu.
you could tell me it in French, you can't go to the bathroom. Like,
Oh God, I would have learned that so quick.
What's como telez-vous?
how are you?
That's what I thought. Como telez-vous? I have to go to the bathroom.
I don't know a lick of French, like literally not a lick.
That's
I
all I
studied it 4
know.
years.
And oui,
4 years.
oui.
Trilingual. Oui, oui.
Oui, oui.
Bonjour.
No, but I
Madame
love, I love what you said about like the no sabo kids because I swear to God, the internet, like your own people, everybody will try to tear you down. And a lot of times, I just want to say one quick note about it is like we don't do this by choice. Like nobody is born and goes, I want to be a no sabo kid. A lot of the times, I'm not gonna say all the time, but a lot of the times we don't get taught a certain thing. If you're mixed, it's hard when you've got different cultures in the house, and me and Tati can completely relate to that. If that parent is not present or able to teach you, then who the fuck is going to teach you? And then number 3, our own parents. We've talked about this on the episode I think before that on this podcast that like sometimes our parents reject it, or our grandparents reject the Spanish because they come here with assimilation. And is that the word? I always say it wrong.
They're trying to assimilate.
Yeah, assimilate.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, so like they're trying to come here and be as American as possible. And I know this wasn't really our lifetime, but like for them, it was, frowned upon to speak Spanish in a public setting, at school, at home, whatever. And the kids wanted to be American and the parents wanted them to be
It's a cause and
identified-
effect type thing.
Yes, identify as
Absolutely.
American. So it's like not your fault, no sabo kids. But I love what you said too. It's like if you're trying though, like I don't know how the fuck you can shame somebody for trying. I don't. I literally can't
That's
think
true.
of one thing.
Absolutely. And I have to tell myself that.
And it's one
When
thing
people
for
ask me to speak Spanish.
it's one thing for somebody to try to shame you, and it's like if you just walk in that, like you cannot give a fuck and just keep learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
That's why we do this podcast, okay? Representing everybody. Before we wrap up really quick though, let's do a listener
damn.
questions.
Time
I know we were just
Yeah,
yapping.
we have a lot of listener questions.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, boss lady, I had this one pulled up, so this one's gonna go to you.
Yes.
What do you feel the struggle of living up to your parents' standards or goals are for your life?
Ooh, that's a good
I
one.
didn't get it.
Yeah, I kind of had it for the whole table, but we can go for you only.
We can do the whole table. You guys want to answer that? Let's do that then. And then if anything, we can
What? Say
move
that again.
forward.
All right. What are the struggles of living up to your parents' standards or goals for your life?
Yeah, let's do that question and then we'll wrap up. Everybody will be able to answer. So I'll go first. So I think for me, I don't struggle with it as much as I used to. And that's because I had to like kind of remove myself from that, like I'm not here to live or appease anybody, including my own mother, which I love her so much, but this is Paulina's life, not Marta's life. But I think what I had to do in order to get there was truly like understand that like I'm moving on my own timeline and there is no shame for that. Like my mom herself is a whole different person than she was, 5 years ago. And I'm so proud of her for that. So I know that like we've all changed throughout time. And I know the old her a lot of times had expectations, right? So it's like, okay, graduate by this age. And I'm sure if we were to ask her, she would say like get married or have kids at a certain time. And at the big age of 31, I say big age, I feel so fulfilled and so happy with my pace. Cause like, I think most of our parents here are at the age we all are, which is like, let's say late 20s, 30s, right? Early 30s. Like all our parents, I'm pretty sure were married and or had children or something along those lines. I'm pretty positive. Okay. See, so like my societal view on that was always like, okay, that's what the society wants and it should be done that way. But I couldn't be happier with the way that things unfolded for me and are unfolding for me. So it's like, I had to step away from like the vision of like what my mom would have wanted.
T?
Okay.
And can you repeat the question?
So the how do you struggle with living up to your parents or family's expectations? Something like that?
Yeah, expectations or goals for you. So
So I would say I'm still working on that because I feel like everything I do it because I want to do it. And this is what I feel is good for me and myself and my future. However, I will say I always consider my mom and my family in my decision making. And that could be negative, right? And I'm aware that it could come off as negative sometimes because it's like, just do it because you want to do it. Like, why do you have to take more time to think about it to consider your family? But I guess for me, I owe so much to my family for where I am. So I always feel like I have to consider them. And again, I think that's something like many people could say it goes both ways, negative or positive. And so I feel like my parents are very supportive in what I'm doing and don't feel the biggest one for me that I feel like the most influence that they have is when I select a partner. And it's because of that mentality that I told you that my dad has always raised me as treating me, courting me, treating me like a princess, treating me like a queen, supporting my mom and I financially in so many ways, and just giving me the best life he wanted for me.
Sorry, I was distracted by the pussy.
The damn cat is here.
I mean the pussy cat, guys.
I was so confused. This was like,
The
wait,
pussy
what?
cat.
So in that sense, for me, it's like I've been so blessed and so fortunate with a father who's provided and he's shown me what a man should do for family and how he should make people feel and things he didn't do, like where he's not really romantic and things in ways he can step up. And so for me, it's like I'm getting a blueprint of what I want and what I don't want. And so my mom is the queen of like, live your life, but like look at how I live my life. What are things you don't like? What are things you like? Like keep that in mind.
Try to be better.
And try to be better. Thank you. And it's like I have a hard time separating future, what would make them happy, what would be better, what would make me happy because of the lifestyle I'm used to, versus just go with what you feel and that's it. And I think that's the biggest area in my life I have to work on as far as my family and expectations. Everything else, like I feel like they're just so proud of me and they're just supportive and they don't try to run or have a say in anything else I do, essentially. Just for that is, and an example is just like when I dated guys in the past, right? And I would bring them to meet my family and like there was some right off the bat, they're like, this is your boyfriend, I respect it, but enjoy, have your fun, but this is not. I personally don't see this person as your life partner. Like you change, you're different around them, like, and not in a good way. But then at the time you're like, what do you mean? Like, he's great. And then you realize later on, like, damn, they were right.
That's real.
Right. And then, you know, you have some that right off the bat, like you notice it, but you don't say anything. And then once your family notices it, you're like, it's confirmed. So that's the problem that I feel like in a lot of situations in my past, my family was right because ultimately I had to learn my way and then I learned it. So that's hard for me now to be like, no, you're wrong. But I mean, I guess I haven't been in that position yet, technically. I don't know.
Interesting.
So yeah, that was a really long response. I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
But this is like a really
Deep
hard
question,
like topic for me just because like my mom was raised one way from my grandma and she's a different person because of that.
Different
and
era.
So, so it's like I have again so many shoes that I want to fill. Like I like this aspect of my mom and her life and this aspect of my grandma's and I don't want this, I do want this, and like it's a lot of noise.
You're handling it amazing.
And thank you. And so
you got this, girl.
we'll see.
I think for me, like, it's always been hard to try to please my mom specifically. Mothers are mothers, you know what I mean? And we're talking about mothers today. But yeah, mothers are mothers. And so they're always going to try to, like, guide you the way they think, you know, you should be going. And for me, if it was up to my mom, like, I think my what I'm doing as far as hair and, like, professionally, like, Mom, they love it, you know, but as far as my personal life, I think that's something that I always struggle with. And it's so sad because like, I even tell my brothers, like, if I ever marry a man or whatever, you know, cause I do want to get married, I don't think I would ever introduce him to my mom, and that's kind of sad. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's so
Wow.
sad. And I don't mean to like for that to be like a very bad, like bring the whole show down like with that or whatever.
No, it's
But that's just the reality of where my mom, I believe, is. Because I respect her that much, you know? And I always think like this. I'm like, just because my mom doesn't know it, to some people, like their happiness is determined by everybody in their life knowing that. And to me, that doesn't determine my happiness, you know? Like I can, you know, hang out with my mom and I can hang out with
absolutely
my boo, you know?
Absolutely.
And for me specifically, I would feel good about it, you know?
Wow.
But it's sad because, like, you know, my dad is actually super supportive, which is crazy. My dad's like, marry a woman, marry a man, marry whoever you want. Like, it's fine. Like, I just want someone to take care of you. I'm like, that, no.
He wants you happy.
I don't need anyone to take care of me.
Oh.
I take care of me.
I get it.
But
Of course.
I get where he's coming from. But that's kind of like the biggest thing, I think, struggle, like, within myself. But I think everything else, man, they're always supportive, you know. Like from going to place in my journey, my dad and my mom have been there, you know, my grand opening, like everything, like they've been there. And so for them, as far as that, that's cool. But yeah, I think it would be just like you said, like choosing a life partner. Like I always have my mom in my head and
Interesting.
not even my dad. My dad's like, go, you know.
Same. Even though I use my dad as an example,
Yeah.
it's more my mom.
Yeah.
Maybe my grandma too, but like number one is my mom.
Yeah.
And it's the running joke. Like
Yeah.
if Dixie likes him, that's the one.
Right.
Not if that. And I was like, no, change
Yeah.
that narrative. That's not good. We both have to
And
like
my
him.
brothers get mad. They're like, why? Like, or my oldest brother, actually, he's like, he asked me, he's like, do you feel more at peace within yourself because mom's not here? Because you guys know that my mom's in
Right.
Mexico right now. And she's been in Mexico for a year and a half now. But they asked me that question. They're like, do you feel more at peace? I'm like, I don't know if I would feel more at peace. Cause again, like I know how to like separate them, but I do always think about my mom. Like, you know, you're God conscious. I'm also like mom conscious. Like
Absolutely.
mom is watching. And it's crazy. Cause
Mother
even
is
when I
watching.
post on Instagram, my mom will just put sad face if I put like a story with me and one of my friends in the community. And she knows how to differentiate and she'll put a sad face. And I'm like, dude, yeah. So she always does that, but at the same time, she's such a good mom.
Yeah,
I know.
I,
So
I
it-
understand.
So like, I always tell like everybody, like I'm never gonna,
I get you though.
I'm never gonna change my mom and try to change her to think like me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying, and vice versa. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying, and so, yeah.
Can I just say, I'm sorry, I'm literally done.
Go ahead.
Since we didn't do like our word affirmation in the beginning, I want to speak really quick, guys. Episode 10, it sounds funny. Like I feel like I've been the most vulnerable this episode, and it's
Yeah.
like almost making me emotional.
Yeah,
could tell.
Just
same.
because
Yeah.
like me being self-conscious about like how I sound in Spanish, but then like this whole idea of like me always having like my mom and that expectation in the back of the head, that's something that weighs heavy on me a lot. Because obviously I want the best for myself, but that's always there.
Yeah.
And like you saying that, like I feel like our word together, we could share it, and maybe even you too, Paulina, like is vulnerability. I feel
Yeah.
like today,
Yes.
like that can that just be the episode word?
Yeah.
Yes.
Episode 10, like we're vulnerable here. Like
we really are.
I'm like today I just feel damn, I didn't know we were gonna get into this, but
Yeah.
wow. But I learned a lot about you right now, Nestor, believe it or
Same.
not. And
Yeah.
like, wow, thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that, because
Yes.
that's not something I feel like anybody could easily probably share.
And I also wanted to share, like, I can see why some of your work ethic comes from. It's probably from trying to like make her proud, even though like you may not feel like you're doing it for her. There's times where like, mom, this is for me, you know, and it's hard to do that, you know. So I commend you for that, dude.
I'm proud of both of you,
you.
and I
Proud
love
of
you
all of
both.
us.
Yes, team.
So we all
up
just
three.
cried. No.
I know, right? I want a good crying session. It's like therapy, you guys. It's
Literally, it felt like
therapy.
it. Yeah.
Aw, I love you guys, and like you guys are making yourselves proud. You're making your parents proud, your families. Keep doing your thing. Listeners, thank you guys. Of course, hopefully we make you
Great
proud.
question, whoever asked that.
Yes,
Yeah.
That was a
amazing.
great question.
Well, thank you for tuning in. Thank you always for listening, following, subscribing, all that good stuff. Follow us on Instagram at Never Too Shy Pod. Woo! I got
One day
it.
we'll get it,
Yeah,
like,
one day I'm gonna just
secure.
like roll off the tongue, and then you can
Episode
also
11.
always submit any questions that you have to our Instagram DMs are open, so we can always kind of keep a list from there as well, so we can do this more often and all that. So love you guys.
Thank you for
Mwah.
listening.
Thank you.
Bye.